Welcome our subscribers. We are aware that everything in this world is governed by a particular law, and that every one of us has a certain amount of luck in this life, which has the potential to unexpectedly and drastically alter our lives. We'll tell you about some people who were extraordinarily lucky to survive in this story. Hold on to us. And hedges. There are some things in life that are tough to predict, regardless of how much money you make. For instance, it would be impossible and insane to wager on finding someone who has been dead for a long time in a grocery shop. Is it not? But Hedges' performance surpassed all predictions and expectations. Because she is the only person ever to have been struck by a meteorite. She was asleep on her couch in the year 1954. She was struck directly by a powerful asteroid that destroyed the roof of her home. She was fortunate to be wrapped in a large blanket, which decreased the intensity of the strike. Fortunately, the meteor impacted her thigh rather than her head, or else she would not have survived. Soto Moya Kamaji. This Japanese citizen is one of the luckiest people in the world. In the 1940s, Yakumoji was a businessman for Mitsubishi, and his work in Hiroshima was part of the company's deals and offers. On August 6, 1945, early in the morning, as he got off the bus, a big light and sound hit the sky. The first explosion of the atomic bomb was 2 miles away. This explosion burned Kamoji and caused him temporary blindness, a perforated eardrum, and great panic. So he decided to leave the city immediately and return to his home city of Nagasaki. And when he got there, he felt comfortable reaching his home, but it was only a short period when the second atomic bomb fell in his mother city, when he was telling his boss about his feelings about the first nuclear bomb, and strangely enough, the second bomb fell only 2 miles from him, just like the first. He survived both explosions and died in 2010 at the age of 93. James Tahi Kamara. When you watch James' story, you will surely say that he is the least fortunate man in the world, but in fact, he is the opposite. When he was surfing, he had a heart attack, which led to his falling into the sea with his face down and without anyone noticing it. Which means that his death is near. But everything is by the will of God Almighty. Where a lifeguard instructor was standing on a cliff near the sea, it gives a lesson in rescue operations. I noticed that one of the surfers was floating on a surface, face down and motionless. I knew there was a problem and rushed to it with a group of rescue crews. They pulled him from the sea and took him to the hospital immediately. After undergoing artificial respiration, 47-year-old Tahi Kamara narrowly escaped death. It is God's mercy that lifeguard teacher Harriet gives her lessons near the shore, because it is rarely found there. Martin Deegan. Everyone is aware that everyone has an unavoidable destiny from which none of us can flee. Therefore, no matter what you do or try, nothing will change your fate. However, some people might believe that he altered fate and avoided the inevitable. Similar to Dutch cyclist Martin Deegan, who had multiple close calls with death in unbelievable circumstances, he is unaware that it is in his destiny. Bicyclist Martin, due to the nature of his sport, he must visit numerous nations. Deegan had to fly from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing in March of 2014. However, he was compelled to make a last-minute alteration to the details and times of his travel. The MH379 aircraft took off without him as a result. A few hours later, the plane vanished with no sign of it. To avoid dying upon a slight modification to the itinerary, he had to travel from Amsterdam to Kuala Lumpur in July of the same year in order to take part in a cycling competition. A second airline with a better deal for the same trip was discovered by him a few hours later. So he made the decision to switch to the cheapest airline in order to save some money. His choice was extremely fortunate because an hour after takeoff, a Malaysia Airlines plane crashed in Ukraine. Bill Morgan. The oddest and luckiest story ever is this one. This is due to Bill's multiple instances of good fortune. His journey began in 1999, the year he unexpectedly survived a vehicle accident. But it turned out that his allergy was caused by the drugs he was receiving to heal from his accident injuries. He experienced 14 minutes of heart failure as a result, yet he survived. Doctors were able to restore his heart's pulse. After that, he spent 12 days in a coma before waking up and going back to his regular life. Morgan made the decision to start over. He then married his girlfriend after switching jobs. He was overjoyed. When he purchased the lottery ticket and won $24,000 with it, he was overjoyed. He was interviewed by the neighborhood media to discuss how he was fortunate to win the lotto the first time. He then purchased a second card to demonstrate how he had won the first, and this time he was successful in winning $250,000.